Hey guys, so here we are, new release Wednesday for the week of August 2nd, and we gotta start up. You know,
because fun this weekend.
I have a need right now. I have a need, a little thirsty, a little parched. I think I would like a milkshake. But I can't have one. I can't have one right now because if I have one and then we post that picture, God only knows what kind of fuckery is going to break loose.
So if you're curious what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the bro flakes have attacked again. So apparently we have a young lady who works for Marble who, her name, do we know her name?
I'm just leaving names out.
Okay.
I would say just in general situation.
This is terrible. But she posted with all of her friends a photo of her enjoying a milkshake.
Yay!
So okay, so she's getting a milkshake.
Innocuous.
That's
Innocent.
fun. Selfies with your friends
Beautiful.
eating. I've done that with hamburgers, for God's sakes.
So we
but
do that here.
all of a sudden, you get the bro flakes who are like, "You're ruining the cosplay and comic community. You're a terrible person." I'm like, I don't understand how milkshakes became such a problem of a selfie. I'm just so blown away by the heat that they got from that. But what was great about it was how the community, male and female on all sides, jumped in and
really
started saying, "This is bullcrap."
Yeah, I mean, really, what I think it boils down to is there's always somebody out there who's going to have an axe to grind, somebody out there who's going to be pissed off over something and they're looking to place it in somebody else's lap. Somebody has to have the blame. So, Marvel going downhill, oh god, it must be
because of milkshakes.
Milkshakes.
If you see the photo online, and it's gone widespread on every nerd outlet, it's absolutely ridiculous. The photo literally is like an Instagram photo of it's like,
and it's cute. I was like, I would like milkshakes with them. They look like they're having fun.
I'm just blown away by how the community and just people. I mean, and I've said this before, and we've said it before again. Is people come into our community and decide, our nerd community, and decide to impose their own hate and just self-loathing on what we do and what we love, and it's getting out of hand. Where you can't post a selfie of a milkshake without somebody being like, "You're the reason why comic industry is falling apart." And I'm like,
if somebody's being offensive, if somebody is really doing something that is tearing down the community, that is doing damage to our safety, then absolutely speak up, speak out, say something, because otherwise, we are going to lose what precious little we have. But if you're just saying something for the sake of talking shit, Bambi
you're
that
a
motherfucker.
dumbass.
Bambi that motherfucker. If you don't have something nice to say, shut the fuck up.
So, I don't know, guys. So that was our first little rant, and we have a lot of cool other stuff to talk about, so let's get into that.
Many much things.
Cool it down.
Let's see what we got.
Alright guys, ladies bring all the boys to the yard, so they're going to be helping me out with the comic selection. So I'm going to start off with my selection.
Totally defying our top 3 from 3, but oh well.
That's fine.
But
so
look, there's 3 in there.
I didn't want to read anything else. I wanted to read this one. So Thor Ragnarok is the 3rd volume. Honestly, I really want to rant more than anything. I was kind of expecting so much more out of the Thor Ragnarok prelude comics. What I'm really getting is the first 2 volumes was pretty much a recap of Incredible Hulk film, and now this is just a recap of the Dark World, which I don't understand. Yes.
And you picked the previous 2 already on the show.
Right. So I'm just really kind of
not buy that book.
I know it's got Thor on it.
It
So
was the Incredible Hulk one. It was the Ed Norton one they're recapping.
Yes, yeah, the one from the MCU.
Oh, okay.
So it's.
Oh, yeah, 'cause the
I
other
actually
Hulk wasn't
like
part
the
of it.
the Hulk ones because we just don't get
They
enough
forgot
of
that
Hulk stuff.
Yeah.
So for this one though, it's kind of just doing a little bit of which is cool seeing Loki and Thor in comics again together, but the film versions. But it's really just a recap of the Dark World and Incredible Hulk, which to me defeats the purpose of this being a prelude to. It's like, honestly, if you don't know everything that happened before, you're not reading like who's gonna just randomly read this? It just seems so awkward to me that they did that, where I kind of expect this 4 volumes. Maybe for the 4th one they'll give us a little more of, was Loki make a deal with Hela? How did Hulk get to Asgard?
So many more interesting stories they could have done instead of doing what they did.
Yeah, so I'm a little disappointed, but of course I'm a fangirl of Thor and Loki, so I was gonna purchase it, but read it, not really impressed. I'm a little sad. So this
So
made me
kind of an errant
dejected.
pick.
Yeah, so I picked it, and I was
Thank
like,
you
after
for
this,
paying for that so that we don't have to.
I didn't want to
pay
pick
for it.
anything else. It made me angry, so this is all I wanted. So they're not going to talk.
Superman 28, Pete Tomasi, and is it Pete Gleason?
Patrick Gleason, yes.
Patrick Gleason. Awesome.
Shout out to another Patrick.
Shout out to another Patrick.
Best name in the world.
Pete Tomasi's been playing with Superman for probably about a year now, and he's bringing a lot of joy to the character. Pete Tomasi, God bless him, his pinnacle feat obviously was being editor on Hitman back in the day, and he's brought Hitman twice into stuff he's done between the Batman and Robin series, as well as putting Hacken at the beginning of this, where Hacken was arm wrestling Bobo, who we hadn't seen in New 52, which was like amazing. Anybody who remembers the death of Superman in the comics themselves, like at some point Bobo the pirate just stops and says a prayer. It's really moving. And Pete Tomasi brought him back in, like outstanding stuff. So if you are a jaded Superman fan, I would recommend that under Pete you pick up his stuff. And this one, with the New 52, they kind of gave that Clark Kent powers and that Lois Lane powers and then killed him. And they brought everyone pre-New 52, Supes or Clark and Lois in and introduced their son, John. And Pete Tomasi did a fun series called Super Sons with Damian Wayne and John Kent, and it's just been a blast. And in this one, they decide they're going to go to the nation's capital, and they're going to tour it. And they walk around the World War II memorial, the Korean memorial, and you find out that Lois's uncle was a Marine who served at the Mayaguez incident, which was the last battle of the Vietnam War. Especially, you know that, especially if you taught that to officer candidates in the summer of 12. And right where the west wall meets the east wall is where all those names are at the very bottom, and that's where the late Kent family member is. So, you know, have you seen Superman holding the American flag for a while? It's probably been a while, but I got to tell you, this book completely surprised the daylights out of me. I can't recommend it enough. So my pick, Supes 28.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a great read.
It was wonderful.
So kicking
Wonderful.
off where you were with Incredible Hulk / Thor, really,
Yeah,
because it was more so
that's
than an Incredible Hulk thing.
really-
You brought it Superman. I'm gonna bring it right back to Marvel.
Okay.
Totally
That's fine.
awesome Hulk and Banner Hulk. Again, I haven't been reading in a while because we kind of took some time. Well, I took time off last year. We brought the show back, so I've been trying to get back into stuff. And one of the characters I did enjoy during my break last year was the Totally Awesome Hulk stuff. Loved that Amadeus Cho is now Hulk. Confused though that Banner, because I thought Banner died from
They brought him back
what
in Secret
thing.
Empire.
So
Yeah.
kind of lost with that. And yeah, you've been reading the Secret Empire stuff, so kind of confused. But I'm interested that they have the two now together, and that he's back. I need to know why.
the
I have to
Generations
talk to
thing?
you about that whole thing. So yes, the Generations.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is the first of the series
Yep.
that's dropping.
Generations first thing, bring it back, and then they're going to lead into Marvel Legacy, which is going to be a big rollout event. That's kind of really getting me hyped to what Marvel's now doing
Marvel
to bring
just
things
hypes me
back.
regardless.
So, but the one big thing I'm not a big thing on is we have a bunch of the variant covers that's still a problem at Marvel. Is
Yeah,
all
that's
these variant
true.
covers that
They're
are forcing
burying
me to
the
buy.
industry with that.
Although, you know, good for Painted Visions. I want them to sell out. So if you want all these are all here.
Come
at
buy them
Painted
at Painted Visions
Come buy them
and
at Painted
nowhere
Visions.
else.
So a lot of amazing cover works, but I'm very excited about Totally Awesome Hulk and Banner Hulk, and I need to read up on it. And this is bringing the Generations to the Marvel Legacy stuff that I'm gonna be probably checking Marvel out again. So
Cool.
there you go.
Thank you, boys, for helping me out. All right. Thank you, guys. All right, guys, you know this is our favorite subject to talk about, and unfortunately, Brandy isn't, like, cool enough to be part of the team.
Rick and Morty.
But what's with the shield though when we're doing Rick and Morty?
Because I'm in Painted Visions,
Because
and
he's
it makes me
Captain
so
Rob.
much happier
That is Captain
to
Rob.
walk around Painted Visions with my hands in my pockets, and you can't tell because I have a prop shield in front of my pockets.
I'm cool.
We're talking Rick and
No,
Morty.
Rick and Morty, you don't know it. You don't watch.
But who knows
It was-
the director?
Shut up.
What up, Brian?
Trying to talk Rick and Morty.
All right, go ahead.
All right, you're messing up our
30 seconds.
times. Oh
So,
my gosh.
It was so cool to be able to hear this episode this time because
Yeah.
the last time I saw it, you
People
just
were
had
screaming.
you had 1,000 people going nuts with every joke. Oh, it's cool.
It was. I love Rick and Morty, and being in the season premiere, like this is technically the second episode.
It was so bomb how they just dropped that on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, and then you
That
waited
was awesome.
all this time, and I'm like, I need it now. I need it now. It's like it made me thirsty for
They
more.
so one of them got divorced. I don't remember which of the two co-creators
Okay.
it was, but in addition to that, I remember seeing the interviews where they were just like, "We're just afraid. We're trying to write smart."
Yeah. And this one was smart, and that's
Yes.
what I really loved. So this one is the typical. Now, if you watch the previous season, Morty and Summer's parents got divorced, which was tragic. Spoiler. So they got tragic divorce, and I've been rooting for this family for a while, and it's Rick's kind of taking the kids on adventures, kind of trying to get them out of the house since the divorce has obviously affected them, but they pretend it didn't affect them.
Very poorly coping with it, and
Yeah.
they use these adventures, these
Cope with it.
apocalyptic Mad Max futures.
Oh, and it's great because you're literally like, witness me! It's a Mad Max. I love it.
Summer is doing the Mad Max thing, and Morty has some mutation, and his arm quadruples in size, and he
And it
starts
like manifests into a personality because it's like carbon memory of
beating people in a ring, but he's yelling what he's criticizing about his father with it the entire. It's so well done.
It is, and it really does speak as hilarious as Rick and Morty is, and that's
Yes.
what I've said this before, that I love how they talk about social problems that we have. It's just these normal problems, and having kids who are coping with divorce, it's huge. Divorce is, what is it, half of marriages in the United States end in divorce, and how kids cope with it it's always different.
And they write it intelligently. They're not playing a cop
Yeah.
out with this. It's
And I
gonna
think-
stick.
I think it was great because even Rick, in the end, was kind of like, you know, I'm not dealing with this either. So let's this divorce is actually affecting me as well. So I liked that.
What's your highlight of the episode? What was your favorite part of the episode?
Well, I think when Summer went full Mad Max, like, and she was like in the gear and she's like blowing off people's head, like beginning she's blowing off people's heads. She's just kind of like
Spinning into the engine.
She was a badass in this one, and I really do like Summer in this, and I think I really hope the season evolves her character more. But yeah, her being a badass in this episode, I think for the whole thing was my favorite.
So the last episode ends with Rick looking at Beth. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry about everything, right? Like that fake sincerity, but and this time when Summer ends up in a relationship just like what her parents went through, where she's the breadwinner and he's too unmotivated to go do anything, like when she breaks up with him and Rick's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like the half-assed calling her some.
Yeah.
Like, Rick and Morty is back, and that was amazing.
Yes, and I cannot wait for the rest of the season. So we're excited, and we're gonna get Brandy to finally start watching. So
It's only on at midnight.
I know.
Adult Swim Sundays. It doesn't conflict at all with Game of Thrones that way. You are
I'm
set.
old. I go to bed early.
no excuse. It's Rick and Morty.
On demand.
My top picks. You know you're waiting on them. I'm going to go ahead and give them to you. I've never been one to be accused of making people wait for things. Unlike some of my co-workers here who are making me wait to even give you my top picks, but we can discuss that later. So my first one is Lobster Johnson Mangekyo One Shot. All right, so this is taking place in the Hellboy world. I like pulling stuff, again, that has that definitive beginning and end. One shots are always fun. They tend to be different. It's a little out of the realm of what you'd get in the normal run of your comic. So in this one, I'm literally going to read this to you because there's nothing else on it. It's a one-shot. Lobster foils an attempted prison break but must answer to the person behind it, the assassin witch. Okay, they got me right there. Assassin witch. Like, life goals, guys. Life goals. And longtime enemy, the Crimson Lotus, who is one of the most enigmatic villains of the Hellboy world. I'm a big fan of Hellboy. I think it's been fun. This one right now is being written by John Acuti, artist by Ben Stenbeck, and I am really looking forward to this one shot, just as something fun, something different, something quick that I can sit down with and kind of knock out. My pick number 2, for those of you who've been keeping up with any of what's been going on with DC, they've been doing these combined mixed world things where they've been taking DC and Looney Tunes and mixing them together, and it's been an absolutely fun run. So they have Batman Elmer Fudd, which is a reprint right now, so it's already come out, but you're getting a second chance to look at it. It's by Tom King. The art in it is Lee Weeks. And it's just like a little bit of your childhood mixed with fantasy. I mean, it's cool stuff. They have a bunch of other ones that have come out so far. So Wonder Woman and the Tasmanian Devil, Martian Manhunter, we're in Marvin the Martian, I think, was probably the weakest of the bunch, but it was still fun. Lobo and Roadrunner. They're going to be having one come out that was written by Jimmy Palmiotti. It's Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam. So if you want something that is a little mindless, a little crazy, but really fun, definitely go out and pick up this second printing. I'm really glad that they're getting the second printing on it because I definitely think it's worth it. And my final pick, speaking of childhood, so I'm a child of the 80s, and growing up, we didn't really watch too much TV, but there were some things that were always on, and my brother and I would watch Garfield and Friends. And if anybody has seen that show, you know, it's just fun. It's the lazy fat cat who hates Mondays, his owner John, and just wants to eat lasagna and sleep all the time. So they're doing a Grumpy Cat Garfield. So yes, you are getting Grumpy Cat mixed with Garfield. Who's crankier? Who's got more to complain about? It's written by Marc Evanier, and the art is by Steve Uy. It's U-Y, so apologies if I'm not pronouncing that right. Y'all know I butcher stuff all the time. But even as a kid going into the library, it was always fun to pick up Far Side Comics and the Garfield, which used to come in these packs like this, and it was this really cool book, and you just got to read through the strip comics that used to show up in the newspapers that they had compiled all together. So this one for me has a little bit of sentiment to it because this is what I grew up reading. So I'm actually really looking forward to it. It can be crazy, it could be nonsensical, and I still feel like I'm going to love it. So those are my top 3 picks, guys.
The queen, my beautiful queen. So you know what we're talking about, right, guys?
Game of Thrones.
I love Cersei. I'm so sorry. She's my bae.
And she honestly has been one of those characters that you love to hate, and I am really enjoying hating her.
I know.
And I'm not quite feeling bad for her anymore. I just love to dislike her.
See, though, I felt bad with her in the conversation she had with the Dorne ladies, with the Sand Snakes, with her daughter. I mean, she had to bury her daughter because these people murdered her.
Yeah.
So it's a mother's dealing with this moment. I had to give it to Cersei on that because it's not like Oberyn didn't have it coming.
True. But I feel like we've just seen the screw come loose, and she is completely unhinged at this point, and God only knows what's actually going to happen.
She's smart because you know what she did with Castle Rock.
Oh, right. But let's see. While that was going on at Casterly Rock, let's just kind of make a little mention of my homegirl, Olenna Tyrell. The amount of memes that have been going around, revolving around this last fuck you moment that she gave Jaime Lannister. I have nothing but respect for her. She was a character that I liked, but I really didn't.
I was a snake, but such a likable snake.
Everyone's sassy grandma.
Everyone's. I want her to be my sassy grandma. You know why? Because I knew she would take care of me. She would take care of me up to the bitter end, doing what she had to do, killing off bitches.
Yeah.
But let's really quickly, I mean, we know that there were these awesome moments, and if you haven't seen it, y'all should have cut this off a while ago. You'll catch up. What we really want to talk about right now is the pacing. We mentioned before when we first started talking about this new season that it was going to be shorter seasons with longer episodes. But holy crap, I feel like we have just flown through. It's like, all right, Jon Snow, who knows nothing, who's slowly starting to know things, is going to travel, and like in the blink of an eye,
boom,
he's
Hi,
gone
Daddy.
across the world, and he's now where he needs to be. Like, it's kind of weird to me.
And I think what they did wrong with this, and this is my personal opinion, guys, but the fact that they only have like 13 full episodes left, this season's already short. I kind of feel like, I know next season they've said each episode is going to be like a movie. So it's going to be movie length. So they're going to be longer, but they've made these still an hour. So it feels so weirdly paced.
It's rushed.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes I couldn't even enjoy. I was like, I don't know what's going on. It's too much. It's like stories, talk. And then this third one was the best one, but still rushed. I feel like all these characters are dead, and there's what next?
The pacing has moved so quickly, and then you get to the end of the episode and you realize, oh, well, we haven't even seen Arya.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? I mean, you have the touching moments that we all have been waiting to see when Sansa finally gets to meet up with any member of her family. Yeah. So we've seen, obviously, she's gotten with Jon, who she really didn't have a relationship with before, but you at least had this moment of, oh good, somebody who we know is going to care for her. And then we get this quick moment where Bran shows up at the wall, and then in 2 seconds flat, he is now at Winterfell and is back with Sansa, who...
Let's talk about Sansa and him for 2 seconds. First of all, Sansa threw Jon under the bus in seconds of like, Bran, you're the only true rightful heir to the throne. You should have it. I'm like, And then the second one, can we all think that Bran's a little high, like a hipster right now? I am one with the earth.
I was
and
gonna
the
say,
chest.
he is definitely
Pulling a Jaden
meditated.
Smith right now.
He has meditated his way, like his third eye is completely open.
It's like, I think it's a little high, and I think
Yeah.
that was a weird humor it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like,
There were a lot of moments of humor, and some of them were definitely well intended, and some of them not so much. I really expected Sansa to just
kind of like walk away. But
out
then,
of the screen.
total side note, because of that, it was weird how Bran knew about the wedding and knew about everything that happened in the house, and she looked really worried. So Sansa was kind of like, what else have you seen? And I think there's something else. Just the way she acted of when she walked away of, either she was freaked out that her brother is like supernatural crazy, or she's now wondering what else does Bran know, because I already feel like Sansa's pulling a Cersei regardless. And I think she's going to do a pull for power, but she's already been discussing this with people like that's not Littlefinger. I don't
can't
know.
wait for him to just get. I want him to get booted out of a window as well. I mean, that's just really been the way
Arya
that
needs
it's
to do it.
She does.
Arya
She
needs
needs
to
to put on that mask, pull like a full-on Sansa, get him in a compromising position, and then just because that would just be perfection. We've already seen Jon Snow put him up against a wall, chokehold, much like Ned did in season 1.
Right.
So we see
Full
that
circle.
he is already taking on the role that Ned took in the beginning, even though we're still not quite sure if he is really of.
Yeah.
And I mean, guys, there's just so many things that we could talk about, so many theories.
Yeah.
We should probably leave it at this point.
But again, let us know in the comments what you're thinking about the pacing, because I mean, obviously, I'm enjoying the show. The first episode's not so much. This one I really loved because I'm Cersei, like nut regardless. I'm sorry, I'm like Loki. I have to have it.
She likes that badness.
I do.
Spice in there.
Let us know what you're thinking about the pacing and the episodes, and we want to read your comments, guys.
All right, guys. Adam, Painted Visions. You know the drill. By the way, Patrick's wrong. 3 variants. Not bad.
Whatever.
Iron Man 1 had 22!
Whatever.
22! That's too many variants. Okay, so on to the business. So, I'm going to go ahead and talk about my top 3 picks. First, we're going to lead in with Batman. I want to say it's issue 27 I'm on right now. I'm a little bit of a... I'm sorry, 29? 28. Okay, thank you, Rob. 28. It's too many issues going on right now, but that one's really enjoying this war between, Riddler, Joker. It's doing really good. It's awesome. You got to be reading this book. It's phenomenal. So, moving on, Iron Fist. I never would have thought this book would carry itself. We just wrapped up the first arc, and it was phenomenal. So now people need to keep reading this book so they keep it going, and they kept the flavor the same, which I was really nervous about, that they wouldn't get the flavor right with this next issue. But they introduced Shang-Chi, and they just keep doing more awesome kung fu action. So this book, keep reading it, guys. Let's keep Iron Fist good, unlike that horrible show. Now we're going to move on to my top pick. My top pick is going to be Walking Dead this week. I don't know if you people follow San Diego, but hopefully you did. But they said that Kirkman announced he has an end game for Walking Dead, and he is actively moving in that direction. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to wrap up this story, because as of right now, Kirkman has set up a very interesting perspective of the world's open and anything could happen. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen and which people become the bad guys again, because I mean we're kind of at a point to where not everybody can play nice. So overall, the theme of humans are shitty to each other is still prevalent. So that's my number 1 pick this week. So again, come pick it up.
Guys, we're gonna do an outro, but then a puppy showed up.
So ignore the other faces. This is the dog. His
This
name's
is
Leo.
the only one that matters.
What are
right
your
now.
top picks, Leo?
Yeah, my top picks
Oh,
are
God.
bones and
pets
and food from the table.
He's a good little beggar dog.
Oh, you look precious. All right,
All
guys.
right, sorry.
So
We were excited.
we can't help it. So that's what we have to talk about this week. There really was so much else that we could have talked
Yeah,
about.
lots going on right now with Netflix, $20 million.
I got one more
and
plug,
all of
though.
this.
Oh.
You got more plugs?
Yes.
Of course he does.
Patrick always has plugs.
Check out our Facebook page for New Release Wednesday.
Kiss
And,
kisses.
subscribe, follow us on Twitter, which we're going to say all that. But I have because of the show and because of all the stuff we do, I have a ton of comics. Besides checking out Painted Visions, we also have a store that I've been throwing the stuff up on the New Release Wednesday page that is going to help us get money for new equipment, camera equipment, everything, so we can improve our channel. So please take a look at our store that I'll be throwing up on the Facebook page. Check it out. That's called The Strange Collection, my collection. A lot of this comic artwork that I picked up over the years.
You got so many awesome
all that
things
stuff.
that people want. We should do a
It's
giveaway.
true.
We'll work on that because I would like if we get enough followers, if we
Get
hit like
Patrick shit for free, if you know what I'm
we
talking
can get
about.
some stuff for free. We'll plan that out. We'll put a contest together.
All right, are you done?
Yes.
All right, so we're done too. So
Gosh, I'm trying to
thank you
improve the
guys.
show,
I know,
and
you
she's
were-
rushing me.
we're
I bought a dog.
Go.
Trying to pet the damn dog.
He already improved the show with the dog. So thanks, guys. We appreciate you watching.
Bye.
Oh my god! Did you get that?
Oh, that's staying in.
Oh, good. You got it though.
Rolling sound speed. Shut up!
Guys, I'm
Action.
triggered. I'm so triggered right now. There's so much going on. What do we do?
Starting on